Victory belongs to you.
I take down big hitters like you before breakfast. Armor's trashed.
My mystic power! I will crush you!
Stay down! Sorry, no can do.
Now you see what you truly face.
Need a mech.
Now you see what you truly face.
Armor's trashed. Sorry, no can do.
Now you see what you truly face.
Need a medic here.
Now you see what you truly face.
Sorry, no can do.
Now you see what you truly face.
Armor's trashed. Sorry, no can do.
Now you see what you truly face.
Sorry, no can do.
Behold. Now you see what you truly face.
Let's try a little bit of overwhelming force.
Now you see what you truly face.
Armor's trashed.
Now you see what you truly face.
Sorry, no can do.
Another annoyance. Now you see what you truly face. Shall return.
Don't bother me again until you get an upgrade. I'm on a whole new plane.
Thought I might see you here.
Hill here.
Repeat.
Greetings, hero. Let's go flying.
I feel sorry for the folks on your team.
Not even a challenge. Sorry, no can do. Probably a waste of ammo. Bring it. Another toy for my bag of tricks.
How does that feel, hero?
I'm calling that mission accomplished. Where that came from.
Our magic is undone.
Another toy for my bag of tricks. where that came from.
Show them what Elven Blades can do.
Not even a challenge.
Their power is too strong.
Bring it. Sorry, no can do. Wonder what Tony could do with this.
vanquished.
charges too. So without it, it'll only give me 1. As you can see here, I'll show you really quick. The cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds, so that's very good. Increases your health, maximum health, but also your defense. This one top here, it is overheated. Now, I had reactive defense system, which regenerates 100% of your health, maximum health, and suit power when you are defeated. That is kind of irrelevant, especially for Cosmic Child. Hey, what up everyone, this is Mondo Day, back with another video. In this video, I'll be doing a build guide for War Machine. This is a build guide 2.0, and I say 2.0 because this is the build guide for War Machine for the new biggest update that they recently released for beginning of 2017. And so again, I'm going to be doing a build guide, going over which uniques to use, which artifacts to use, which powers to use, and then which powers to use, as well as go over the traits or counts, which ones I use, and then after that, go over the hero abilities. And at the very end, I'm showing you my rotation, kind of give you some tips and pointers as far as how I would do with War Machine, with using no infinities at all. Again, I use no infinity points at all. With the beginning of this year, what I'm going to be doing now is from here on out, at the end of each draw, I'm going to kind of display to you guys my infinity points. That way you can see that I'm not using any, as well as show you my item too. That way you can see that so when I do my build guide video, you can see it all check. There's just a little build that shows you that you can pass Cosmic Child without having to use any infinity points. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So one of the first things we're going to go is artifacts. The first artifact that I use is White Suit Jacket. I'm using this for the health increase, the durability, and physical damage rating. Definitely want the health and physical damage rating, but more importantly, it's the durability, because War Machine is, for his trait, he is durability and strength. But as I said before in my previous video, my guide to the biggest update, the first thing you want to look at for every character is this specific, this one right here at the top left, for the talent and trait section or column. Always look at the first one because it tells you right there what type of attribute any one of these is going to be. In this case, War Machine is durability and strength. So meaning that what you want to do is you want to have items that are durability and strength. This one is really good. For each point that you have, you get 4% damage increase. And so this one gives you +3 durability, 3 4, it's 12% right there. So that's why I'm using this one. Then I'm using crossbow secret credentials. I'm using this for the damage rating, the range powers, not so much of melee, or a little bit of melee, brutal shock rating, critical hit rating, but more importantly, for the +3 strength, you're going to get these strength durability, +3 strength, and also 2 critical hit gains 3 to 2 brutal damage, and it stacks up to 3 times. So 3 times 3, it's quite a substantial amount, so that's pretty decent. Then I'm using Full Defender's Medallion. I'm using this for the health increase, also durability, deflect rating, but also 2 when you have the melee power, you increase your dodge, and when you with the physical power, you increase your defense. But more importantly, when you become gold active, you gain +2 strength, and that's perfect for him because, as I said, War Machine's trait was he's the archetype. He is durability and strength, so it's perfect for him. And then I'm using Advanced Crimson Crystal of Cataract for the health increase, the +2 strength, and physical damage rating, and also 2% chance when you hit to create a shield which absorbs 6,300 damage. It's a decent amount, but to me the main purpose of using this is for strength increase, health, and physical damage rating. Then I'm using Ultra Beam Level Concussion Projector for the +2 strength, damage rating to skill status, brutal damage rating, and everything to work too, but again, mainly for the strength and brutal damage. And then for the Forge, 800 defense, and I have a blessed where I gain +1 durability, defense rating increase, and 400 health. For the ring, I'm using Industrial City Ring. I have it to where I'm using the one that grants you physical attack increase, health increase, critical damage rating increase, attack speed to physical powers increase, and when you hit the physical power, gain 130 damage rating. That's perfect because he's physical base as well too. Legendary, he is, I'm using actually Savage Axe because he is physical base, so all of his powers are all physical damage, so it'd be perfect for him. And for uniques, I use for his uniques, I use all of his uniques. As you can see here, these are all his uniques, so they're really good as is. I do have some challenge bonuses. I think all of them. Yeah, so I do have challenge bonuses to all of them. They're a bit mixed. Ideally, you want to get challenge bonus straight for durability as much as that. I do have to do fighting, but a good way to get
This barbecue started.
to get uniques that they include challenge bonus is go to High Town. Definitely want to defeat the bosses for High Town, for Cosmic High Town, because with Cosmic High Town will give you unique for your character, but also give you challenge bonus. So all you have to do is kind of grind for a bit, farm for a bit, maybe 30 minutes, maybe less, do High Town, and then get some uniques for your character. With the challenge bonus that you want,
Nothing can stop me now.
the other stuff. So.
I wonder what Tony could do with this.
And then I'm using War Machine Iron Patriot costume, and then I am using advanced technological systems. I have it to where I'm using it gets 31 suit power increase, gain for 18 health when you hit, regenerate 25% of your health, and 100 spirit when you use a medikit, and then +3 fighting. So again, not the best. Well, it's good because again, when you use a medikit, you increase your health and spirit. But ideally, you want to get one that grants you either plus durability, +1 durability, or +1 strength. You definitely want that. The one with use medikits, and this is a positive one too. So I gain damage shield with 50% of maximum health when you use a medikit. That's perfect. And then the affixes, of course, grade 1 to 4 critical damage rating, and the tech bonus when you use powers is more than for 10 seconds. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty good. You definitely want the critical damage. Insignia, I'm using insignia of Thor. When you critically hit, you and your allies gain 147 defense rating, and insignia has 54 energy damage rating. That's decent. But even if you can compare to quite a amount of damage, brutal damage rating, and also damage rating to range now, since these all range. And then for the pets, I have it to where I take 1% less damage for bosses, 30 suit power increase, and then +3 durability. And like I said, that's durability is going to help him a lot because he is durability and strength. So that's the items I'm using. And then for the powers I'm using, what I'm trying to do is to repeat but I am using Total War, this one, and then I'm using Clear the Room, Spitfire, Hammer of War, a Rough Landing, I'm Built for War, and Almost a Signature. And then I have here Laser Cutter as my movement. And then as I mentioned, Infinity System, nothing that I use at any point at all. And then for the Lucidity, I have Colossus for the health increase and physical damage rating. Dr. Doom for signature power increase. Human Torch for the area damage. Moon Knight for the critical hit rating to multiply the physical powers. Rogue to health on the hit. Schoolgirl for damage rating bosses. Fusion for the range power increase. Damage to machines. War Machine for the +10 spirit. Suit for the +1 fighting entity. Winter Bolt for the range, healing, and Wolverine for brutal strike, brutal damage. Alright, so before we get into the good stuff, I'm going to show you now my trades, which ones I use. I chose our talents. So the first row, I chose Anonymous minigun because it's an auto gun that literally just does damage automatically. It's basically similar to Ironman's weapon where it just shoots automatically, but this does generate heat. And heat's important, and I'll explain that a little later, but it does generate heat, 15, so keep that in mind. But I chose Anonymous minigun because they increase the damage bonus by 100%. That's pretty good. Second row, I chose Gain's Communication Break. I use it because the Army of One gains the following effects, which I believe is, where is it? I wish we were going to it's a signature. Army of One gains the following effects, which is cooldown reduction in 5 seconds, which is good because there's signature it's pretty good. It's pretty strong, but the best thing about it is that if you use your signature, you become invulnerable, meaning that you cannot get damage dealt to you. So if you're, it's a good way to, if you're about to die, you can activate signature and become invulnerable for I believe like 4 seconds or something like that. So keep that in mind. And then I'm using anonymous missile deployment from the third wall. I'm using this for when War Machine for ugly fire missiles and enemies automatically damage the amount. Projectile fire 3, cooldown 3 seconds, and then hammer of war cooldown by 3 seconds, and cancel 2 targets with our system, which is hammer of war. Big area burning. This is really good because it does not only quite substantial amount of damage, but also does a lot of area and burning as well too. Burning meaning damage over time. So it's really good. So that's what I'm using. And give me 2 targets. Without it, it would only give me 1. You can see the area. We will fight another day. So with this, it does. I have 2 charges and the cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. The next row, I am using hardened armor. It's a passive. What it does is it increases your health, maximum health, but also defense rating multiplier is increased by 20%. And then while overheated, take 10% less damage. So that's good. Overheated is this bar right here. This one top right here. This is overheated. Now I had reactive defense system, which regenerates 100% of your health, maximum health, and suit power when you are defeated. That is kind of irrelevant, especially for Marvel Charles. But I originally had this for because with this when you use Built for War, which is this one right here, it creates a shield that absorbs damage equal to 100% of maximum health within the next 2 seconds. And that's for 20% of the maximum health when activated. So I originally had this for that reason, but I realized that it was too short for me to take 2 seconds. And more than for my build. Personally, I think I would have to have extra health. Of course, this is stealth thing is really melee and not really noise for me, so figuring this would be War Machine. And then last but not least, I chose overclocking. I chose this because what this does is with heat, there's certain powers that generate heat. Again, I'll show you in my rotation, but there's certain powers that generate heat, and so with this, when you have overclocking talent, heat generating powers, meaning powers that generate heat, deal 15% more damage, but they generate 50% more heat faster. So keep that in mind. And again, I'll explain it in a bit. So again, increases the damage by 15% more to regenerating heat powers, and it generates heat more. And Spitfire, which is this one right here, Spitfire deals bonus damage if you have over 60% of heat, and then heat decays slower than while overheated. So again, that's a really good power that I use a lot. And yeah, so that's the powers, and that's the traits or talents, whatever you want to call them. I know it's my first video of this whole build guide. This is my first build guide video for this whole, talents and traits and the new updates. So bear with me in terms of me explaining stuff. Eventually I'll get used to it, and eventually I'll get kind of a standardized way for me to explain stuff. So yeah, so let me get into it. Let's go right into it. So the first thing I usually use is Holy War, which is basic, not really basic, but it's a range gun. I use it mainly whenever all my powers are in cooldown. I just use this to keep using it. Okay, just get out of the way. Total War, I use it whenever my cooldowns are whenever my powers are in cooldown. I use it. That's my go-to power. All right, so I guess I can explain a little bit of the powers, but just to kind of go over it and then kind of show you my motivation. So the first power is Clear the Room. It's a very good one, especially when you want to do a lot of area damage. So with this one, it's also generating heat. As mentioned, as you can see here, this is heat part right here. Generating heat. That's the automatic. This one right here. Now this minigun. Now automatic shoot. So this one is blue hard, but Clear the Room is a good. It does good area, good range. Well, not much of the range, but area is really good. But the two, what this does is when you activate the power, so it does the lowest tank round, which means that it increases the critical chance of receiving one power by 10% for 8 seconds. So again, as you activate this, you use total war, because this is a machine gun. And according to this, clear the room,
I'm calling that mission
the critical
accomplished.
chances increase by 10% for 8 seconds. So this is a good way, good to know. That way, when you use clear the room, make sure you use total war, because again, with this buff from clear the room, your critical chances increase by 10% for 8 seconds. So again, keep that in mind. As I mentioned before, let me show you how clear the room looks like. We get a pretty good amount of area damage. Next, Hammer of War. You guys saw, I already showed it to you guys. This is very good, very strong, and it does 2 of them. Especially because we chose the talent that grants me 2. Give me 2 charges, so hence why I use this. And it really does really good damage in a good area and burning, which is damage over time. Spitfire, easy. My advice is always activate Spitfire whenever it's either 80% or 100. But always never use it halfway. If you're halfway, keep using Total War, because Total War generates heat, as well as the anonymous minigun. So you're always going to be generating heat. A rough landing, it's melee damage. It does a little bit area, but a good thing about it is that I can actually move. So if I have to, if worst case scenario, if I'm, on Cosmic Trial and I'm fighting, the Hulkbusters, and I'm going to be killed, one way to kind of escape, it's kind of a little tip, is use rough landing, because the rough landing does not only does it do area damage, but it's a good way for you to move from a distance, from an area, so that way you can kind of use a medkit or something. So look something like this. See what I mean? And then Built for War. This is very good. I like this because it does somewhat decent damage, but it restores your spirit, your suit power, by 40%. 40% of your max power. So again, that's very important to know, because I would highly recommend utilize this correctly, if that makes sense, because for my build specifically, my suit power isn't as high, and so I have to use this wisely, because if you use it right away, you're not going to be benefiting it as much. So meaning that what you're going to be using is all your power. If you use up all your power right away, you're going to be draining your suit power drastically, to where you can possibly even run out of it, in a sense that you can't even use anything. So you have to basically wait until either the cooldown is removed from Built for War, or you just have to wait until your spirit or your suit power is regenerated. So my advice, and this is another tip, is for Built for War, before you activate it, make sure you activate it accordingly. And so I would usually say activate this when either you're halfway, you definitely when you're quarter, activate it. But when you're halfway, activate it. That way you can still have your suit power, either as full as much as you can, or it's regenerating pretty good amount. So that's one of the reasons why I use this, because it regenerates your suit power. Then last but not least is Army of One signature. I love this. It's pretty good. It doesn't do as much damage. It's kind of a bit weak, but it does its job. It does it, to me. I like it. It does its job. So yeah. And the good thing about it is that you're invulnerable for the duration of this power. So again, that's really, really good. As I mentioned, that if you're low on health and you want to regenerate some health, activate signature and you become invulnerable. So that's a good way to use medkit. And then obviously laser cutter for the movement. So just again, I would explain the powers that we get an understanding. So now we get into the rotation and so forth, the good stuff that they usually say. So one of the things I really highly recommend is that whenever you do Cosmic Trial, always activate Hammer of War whenever you can. These are really good, really strong powers, and they do, as I mentioned, do a lot of area and burning, which is damage over time. So my advice is use these, I don't want to say wisely, but use them strategically, if that makes sense. So for instance, if let's just say you're in Cosmic Trial, right? And these are the enemies, right? They're all scattered and they're attacking to you like this. I would say use 2 of them right off the bat. Before you use any power, use 2 of them, and use one, split it evenly, like this. Or let's say they're over here.
Oh, they didn't belong to anybody.
Get away for the cooldown, but hopefully it makes sense what I mean. So my advice is always activate. Very good, very strong. And so my advice is, again, use them wisely and use them like according to the surrounding terrain. So this is one example. So let's just say you're in Cosmic Trial and you see enemies are like this. Simple. Activate it where the majority of the enemies are at, so that way you can do massive damage, a lot of damage.